Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to the ILR Tier 2 stream of Season 6 with Joe, or the amazement here, and Jack, who you may or may not know who's finishing up his dinner in the background, which is fantastic.
Yes,
he might be able to speak.
I will try and keep it down so you don't hear chewing on the stream. But yeah.
We've just had to delay the stream by a minute or two as well because of an ice cream truck going by, which is fantastic. But anyway, Australia and Tier 2 should be, well, Australia's a bit of a funny track really. It's never provided the greatest racing, but you're always anticipating something because it's a real new season, a brand new game, and obviously a brand new grid, which, to be fair, considering it's Tier 2, is very quick. As we get a yellow in Sector 3, Mike has decided to disconnect. I don't think it was because of that, I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, the Tier 2 grid this season is looks very quick, considering I raced in Tier 2 last season. I feel like the quality's a lot better. Going through the grid, obviously people are out setting their first lap times. We can go through the grid a little bit. So, who have we got?
Yeah, you've got to remember, for those that don't know, the tiers have been switched about a bit. Last season there was 4 tiers. The only tier that was no assists was the first one. This season, all 1, 2 and 3 are all no assists. So people that may have been in tier 2 last season, because they used line, are now down in tier 4 this season.
Yes, so learn line and you can move up. No line, don't learn the line. It's bad that was. So yeah, so there's quite a few new faces just really because of that reason, and also I think that generally if you don't have the line, you know, you get the quicker people. I mean, you look at Tier 1, that's absolutely stacked as well, and as I say, Tier 2 is quite good as Apex Zero does a 21-2. One thing I will say, and I don't know if you're on the same level as me here, Jack, I don't know what a good time is. I don't know what's quick.
I don't know. Quick time on the last game was a high 19.
Right.
So we may get to that because they've been set. You can't change the ballast in this. That is going to make people slower, no matter what.
Yes.
Because I know there were people with ballast who've done realistic as hell, but cars are more realistic now. So you don't see people drifting through corners, which was some reason the quickest way around the corner in the last game.
Oh yeah.
So I'm expecting the quickest time to be a low 20, I'd say.
Yeah, so I reckon we might get in the 19s just based off the first few laps we've had here. People dialing themselves in, track evolution, all that. I mean, my extent, well, very limited driving on this game. It does feel more realistic in 2018, as you say. You're not just drifting around every single corner, which was stupid, quite frankly. It was a lot better as Powsery goes quickest on a 20.5. Let's say I think people are just bedding themselves in. It's interesting that everyone's gone on the softs, first of all, as well, because that was one of my fears, that we would only really get some runs at the end of the session on the medium. Like 2018, a lot of qualifying was just based off the middle range tyre at the end of the session. The first 15 minutes of qualifying was pretty boring, let's be honest. So it's good that hopefully we're going to get a lot more running in this session than what we would have done in most 2018 qualifyings.
Yeah, soft tyre, the reason people didn't use the softest compounded tyre so much in the last game is not because of the wear. The wear wasn't the problem. It was just because they would get so hot.
Yeah.
It was the
He was on board with that as well.
Yeah, that was. I'm giving a pat on the back to myself for that one.
Yeah.
Always go on board with people with the flying laps because that's where you see the mistakes and the amazing laps.
Well, flying into a wall lap there, really. But yeah, on the last game, overheating was a massive issue. I know they did patch it and it was toned down, but it was still very prominent, especially on the softest tyre. Yeah. So I'm not sure how it is on this game. I'm assuming because everyone's going towards the softs, or most people anyway. I mean, you've got Brum, who's out on the mediums, who looks like he lost a bit of grip, so that's not good for him. And you also got Jorg as well on the mediums. It's good to see that hopefully the tyre temps don't play a big issue. Obviously, in real life, it does. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm expecting the strategy here to probably be like soft hard, one stop. One stop's always the way if you can do it round here.
I think, yeah, Australia 50% race. I know they grade it so if you're going to do a 50% race, your tyres wear slightly quickly, but still, one stop for me would be soft hard. Soft for me would be a stretch, because then you'd have to do soft, medium.
Yeah, and then, well, people who start on mediums might be able to stretch them out for softs as well. You don't know what can happen with safety cars, virtuals, because that's going to be a thing, and so I'm not sure what the safety car frequency is as well, because on the last game, it just never appeared, at least in my experience.
It doesn't appear in this game either.
Alright, well, that's good. But you did get the odd VSC, which was good. And as I say, if you're starting on the mediums, you got to lap 15, 16, take advantage of that goal and softs to the end potentially. So, I'd say medium hard, probably a good option as well if you're outside the top 10. It really depends. I mean, I don't know what to expect, which, as I say, probably a good thing. As I say, I'm not sure really, as I say, how much have you really watched Tier 2 and a lot of these drivers as well? That's another thing, especially on track at the same time together. So it is a good grid, because say you got a few Tier 1 people from last season. Who was in Tier 1 last season? From my experience.
Was Mitzi in Tier 1?
No, he's in Tier 2. So at least I know Danny was in Tier 1 at least briefly last season. He's been take a hiatus off league racing, but he's come back. I think he is a reserve for Tier 2, but of course we've not got a full grid. I'm not sure what the reason is for a few of them not being here. Say, I know he's a reserve, but he's extremely quick. Yeah.
Comms and drivers.
Yeah, we're not the first choice comms for this tier, if you don't know.
I mean, I normally comm ILR3, so, I don't actually know if you know this, but in ILR3, if you've ever watched ILR3, I did this thing last season called, in the racing point, I almost did David Croft and called it Force India. It's a racing point. I'm going to hold myself to that and not make that mistake, but I'm going to carry on. Alex in the Mercedes goes around, actually I know exactly 300s quicker, so it's getting faster, but it's still really close.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I get interrupted again by somebody putting in a quick time, the Supercharge Award is something that was given to the driver that's made the most amount of positions in the first 2 laps.
2 laps?
2 laps.
Wow. So the Lance Stroll Award. He always seems to do it, doesn't he?
Yeah, so it's somebody that may not be entirely happy with their quality performance, it gives them something else to aim for. Rather than pole position, they get a Supercharge Award. Most people, because I remember the drivers really liked it last season, and it made starts all the more explosive.
I mean, as I say, I don't think people are going to go into the race at the back thinking, I don't want good points, I want my supercharger, but they're definitely going to be thinking, I want to make as many.
Something off to the side.
Yeah, it's a good little feature to have. As I say, overtaking round here is difficult, so if you are going to do it, it's either going to be through strategy or, say, the first lap or two, is just notoriously difficult. As I say, we don't know what the weather's going to be either for the race. No idea. I mean, it's a dry qualifying. It doesn't look like it's going to rain, but for the race, there's potential. There is potential for a wet race.
That'll be good. I've actually witnessed any wet racing for myself. I've seen other people driving in the wet, quite a lot of wet driving, but never actually experienced, well, I wouldn't experience it, I'm watching it. I've never actually seen it for myself in this game, so it'd be interesting to watch.
No, I've not even driven a wet lap round on this game. I can't imagine it being too different to the last game. I say it'd be a lot easier to save fuel, be a lot easier to save ERS, but as I say, the ERS.
Yeah, to be honest, I would have thought that would have been one thing that would have been easier on this game than last game, because they made it so tyres stay cooler, in general, so they're hard to overheat. And the ballast is always at 6, so you're going to get less oversteer, just inherently, aren't you?
Yes. Unless you were mad and ran your ballast at 4, in which case you were probably not quick enough by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway, entering the final sort of third of qualifying, I think most drivers here, I'm not sure if they've had enough time to do 4 runs. I know they probably could. But as I say, I think a lot of drivers are coming into the pits now, probably going to wait a few minutes with 3 or 4 minutes remaining and go for their fastest laps. So the only driver not to set a lap is Alcohol, who is not on a lap either. He's probably cut a few of his laps.
Maybe invalidated,
yeah.
It's quite easy to do that around Australia.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think everyone can admit. Turn 1, the fast chicane, the short right-hand corner before that. Jesus.
Even the
even
turn 14, that fast right-hander before the really slow things, it's very easy to extend that. I'm expecting a fair few penalties around this race. Because as I say, it is a very easy track. It is decently difficult without line. I will say that. I say all these drivers are without the line. Most of them are skilled without it anyway. I'm not sure if anyone's had to just turn it off for this game. So I don't think that will be an issue. But as I say, yeah, I'm expecting a fair few penalties. As I say, incidents, you just don't know until you get into the race at all. Yeah, penalties-wise, if you can just keep it clean within the white lines throughout the race, someone's going to pick up a few positions, really.
You're about to finish the lap, albeit with absolutely no fuel or battery left.
Oh, it's don't make that mistake.
Doubt this will be an improvement in time.
It's York. It's not York.
Oh my God, it was. Okay.
Let's not go there. So we improved coasting over the line, which is brilliant. Yeah, don't say York. It's not a Y. I don't know how people made that mistake. I heard a few streams where they said that. I'm not sure how. But anyway, he goes 9th, which isn't.
Could be Icelandic.
It could be Icelandic. In which case he does a weird clapping thing. But yeah, goes 9th, which probably isn't the best position, really. I mean, if you're around that sort of region, sort of 8th to 12th, you probably want to start 11th or 12th. Yeah. Just basically the fact, free choice of tyres, and say we don't know how well the softs are going to perform. So, say the first time at Alex, that was set a little while ago, 20.3. So you was expecting low 20s, off we might get in the 19s. You don't know who's going to be correct here, really. All we know is
if I was to start in 11th to 15th, personally, I'd go on the mediums, because then if there is an overheating issue with the softs, you're not going to have that with the mediums, and you're probably going to make up quite a few positions if you did so.
No, and you have another, there's a couple of more advantages. One, you can pick your strategy. If the softs are good and you can run mediums to say lap 16, 17, bolt a set of softs on, or if you have an incident and you're near the back, probably just go fit hards and attempt to go to the end, as Antmads improves from second place to go on provisional pole on a 20.2. So I'm very surprised that he's done his time then. I was expecting the times to really come right at the end of the session when the checker flag had dropped. To say Dralix and Palsbury out on out laps, as well as Zero and Langman. Most of the rest are in the pits. Is Danny on a lap? He's just on an out lap. So
I think he might have validated. I'm not too sure.
I'm not possibly. Let's say he's cruising round 11.
Closest to the line.
People on an out lap.
I can work out.
Yeah, he
He'll go on board with his Ferrari.
Take it away with the lap of Albert Park.
So there's 3 DRS zones from what I believe. There's 2 in the first sector, 1 in the last sector. Into turn 1, careful not to cut or extend. Bit of a really thread the eye of the needle there. Another DRS zone, 2 in succession. Up to 7th gear, really go into 8th or just strain the 7th. He strains the 7th, down into turn 3. Great turning on the Ferrari there, I have to say. Good turn of direction. And into turn 4, 5, flat out into 5, 6. Braking zone around 50 metre board, yes. Fourthly, you want to get the best run, little steering angle as possible, to get the cleanest possible run up to the tight braking zone. I'm stuffing myself here. I'm trying to eat my
Do
dinner
you
at the
want
same
me to
time. You
take
carry on.
over? Right,
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
fast
yeah.
chicane of 9 and 10, holding it in 7th. He's going to change down to 6th. As I say, that looked like a bit of a cut. We don't know. There's the third DRSO, which he was referring to. Possibly an overtaking opportunity into turn 12 here. Turning in 4th gear, about what you're expecting. I'm expecting maybe a lift just in 5th. Quite a lot of understeer on this lap, I must say. Missed a few apex. It just looked like he's a bit wide through the slow 15 and through the last corner of 16. Now on the throttle up to the line. What is he going to set? Is he going to improve on 11th? I can't really tell how much he's going to improve by. So he does go 5th, so it is a decent lap there, 20.8. Still 6 tenths off pole though. Really, the top sort of 3 have got quite a gap.
That's a big extend as well. I'd be very surprised if that lap's still valid. That was a big moment as he went in sector 3.
He's pitting.
Dives into the pits. Anybody close to finishing now, that may as well go on board with the other Red Bull of VSR overkills. That's another big cut. People are getting really over-ambitious with what they're doing with their laps. I've gone on board with Dralix now. P2, can he improve by just under a tenth and a half? Activates DRS, sprints up to the line. Still got a lot of ERS left. And he does not improve because he may have invalidated, but he's going to go again. We'll go on board with somebody who's a bit closer to
Mitty, he timed his lap to perfection. He crossed the line about 10 seconds to go and ended up stuffing it in the wall on the exit of turn 1. So all that anticipation building up to your final lap, and you've done a Bottas from 2018. So that's not gone well. So Mike's gone up to line anyway in P8 in a Mercedes, ironically. He goes 3rd. That's a really good lap there to move up a few positions. So there's a few people still on a lap. So who's near the end of one? Brumson goes 5th on 20.6. So that's a good effort from him. Pulls himself into the top half of the grid. Oh my god! That has come out of nowhere.
That is a 3 tenths quicker than anybody else. Everyone's gone on the soft tyres, which surprises me. But
does surprise me.
York goes 9 by the end.
It's not York.
Sorry.
There's a J there. We'll get used to it.
94.
Sure. Yes. And I think the only other one who's actually on a lap is Dralix.
He must have been invalidating Alphaball in his first lap, because you can't have, unless he's just horrifically inconsistent and then just put an absolute belter, but I doubt that's the case. He must have gotten a few unlucky invalidations, and then once he actually finally put it together, put in an absolute stormer of a lap.
Yeah, so really an all or nothing lap for Alphaball there, who sets pole by 3 tenths of a second. That is quite a margin, so it was quite close between the top guys. Dralix did improve actually in his final run there, but he did stay 3rd, much to his annoyance. He's 100th off pole. Hansma's taken that 2nd position, I think running through the rest of the grid then. So Mike got 4th with his late lap, and Palzer and Brumson make up row 3. Nathan Aitken and Overkills. Overkills a tier 2 champion last season, 7th and 8th. Jork 9th, 0 10th, I've not got much time. Danny 11th, Mitty 12th, Langman 13th, Hayden 14th, and Gohanu. I'm not sure if he crashed or not. I didn't see that, but he didn't really set a very competitive lap time in last, not a last time in lap. Let's not get them words mixed up. So, yeah. Quite a, very unexpected pole there. Say, we didn't really know what the grid was going to be like, or the order. And yeah, into the 19s, just one driver. Should be an exciting race.
Sorry I stuttered on your lap there, Apex, but I haven't commentated in over a month. I apologise.
Oh, it's fine. It was not a bad time to do it, because I could take over. There's about 5 or 6 seconds until he actually decided to turn into a corner. I did put you under pressure to do that as well.
I was midway through a mouthful, and then you were like, "Oh, give us an onboard," and then I choked on my food trying to get it down.
Well, it's very interesting. So it looks like a dry.
I'll take my plate downstairs, and I'll be back.
You do that on the formation up anyway. So it looks like, well, it is a dry start, and to be quite honest, I'm not expecting any rain to occur, which possibly for the front guys, they are happy about that. Guys near the back, they're hoping strategy can come into it. To say, Alpha I'm not sure where he raced last season. He's one of the few names which I'm not actually very familiar with. So to see him on pole is a bit of a surprise because you don't know the pace of someone until you actually know them. So possibly a bit of a dark horse for not just this race case on pole, but maybe the championship. You never know what could happen down the line. Say Antsmaz as well. He was in Tier 1 last season, I believe. He's been in the top tiers partly in the past, so he has potential. Going back to Tier 2 probably is a bit better for him. There's a few drivers, like I say, Dralex. You know, he always comes good in the race. He does. I've known him to be much better in the racing in qualifying. Say Mike's been in Tier 1 in the past as well, coming back to league racing. Hauser is always threatened top divisions as well, but he's in Tier 2. Brumson, someone from Tier 2 last season, very quick on his day, and say he starts sit, not sure what to expect from him this race. Nathan Aitken, one of them names, as I say, I think he's come up to Tier 2, if I'm not mistaken, starts in 7th. Overkills, I'm a bit shocked Overkills. Started in 8th, especially seeing he was the Tier 2 champion. I'm quite surprised he didn't get into Tier 1, but as I say, based off time trial time, so maybe this game doesn't suit him as much, I'm not too sure. Say Jork, another one of them people, much better in the race rather than qualifying, as we have a Williams on the grass there. Who was that? I think it was... I'm not too sure who that was, but there was a Williams on the grass. Penultimate Portage. I know from past experience, if you don't get that off your tyres, you could be in for a bit of a bad start. Yeah, so let's actually see what tyres people are on near the back. It's that's a very interesting selection. But we don't have time to think about that.
Not great.
Take it away.
Okay, so 5 lights on ahead of the drivers. That's a very long hold, and they finally go out. The Alfa Romeo gets a very good start ahead of the racing point. He's going to be a whole car length ahead into turn 1. The racing point tries to fight back, but that Mercedes is going to try and go around the outside, dips a wheel onto the grass. Mercedes going side by side. That's a Williams into the wall. And I think that is Pelzeri.
I think that might be...
Racing point goes clean around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Well, sorry for interrupting you there, but that was an amazing move by Antsmaz. On the outside, there's a Rebel going wide over the speed bump at the edge of turn 4. And did you see what happened for that instant with Williams?
No, I didn't actually see it, so he might have possibly been the Williams, which I see off at the penultimate corner. I said if you've got grass in your tyres, it might make for a bit of a nightmare start, so I'm not sure if there was contact. As Zero looks down the inside of Brumson into turn 9. Oh, he thinks about it. Oh, he spun. And that's very ironic considering the car he's in, and he's fallen back down to last. So I'm not sure if Palsbury has damage. And say, oh my god, the scrap for 10th there. There is, I think, Gohan's going around the outside. He's not going to try and go around the outside there. Danny, no. And so he backs off as well. I'm not sure if there's a safety car, because there's a few people backed off. No, there isn't.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, the scrap for P2 is absolutely mental. Alpha Ball's gone down to P4.
He's had a shocker.
Mercedes, ironically, those two cars, ironically, tag teamed him into making a mistake, and they both sort of just slipstreamed past him. As he tried to fight back, he lost the rear end completely and lost even more time to the cars in front. But Antsman's now got 7/10 of a second of an advantage over the 2 behind him. And Alpha Ball
I think
keeping with them.
Oh, Palsbury, I think he's crashed into the pit lane. No, he crashed. He must have understeered turning right. I mean, he had damage anyway, so his race, unless he gets a safety car, is going to be very long there at the back. So just an unfortunate start of the season. To him and say Apex Zero's continued. I'm not sure if he got damage or not. It was just a spin, so I think he's good to continue. And the rest of the cars are fine. So we had some big winners there. Some people down the back, say Langman, Hayden, Gohan, profiting from some of the spins. You say you had some big winners. Let's say Nathan Aitken and Jork both up 4 positions. Say Alpha with a shocker. I'm not sure what happened to him at the start of that race, but Nathan already on a bit of a charge here, sizing up Tralex. No, that was weird. You see Tralex ghost there?
Okay. I don't think so. He just sort of poked him with exactly the front point of his car, and since it was that point of his car, his front wings still should be okay.
Yeah. Very odd there anyway, so...
It may have been VSR Hydraulics flagging on your screen because you just read X.
Yeah, I think he is slightly. I'm not sure that's going to affect things. As I say, the people who started on different tyres, say Langman's up to P9, which is good stuff for him, considering he's on hards as well. He's doing a good job staying with the paid, and he's on medium, so Danny's not far behind on hards as well, so look out for them later on in the stint.
One yellow. That was for absolutely nothing. Right, let's carry on.
Well, it might be for Gohan actually.
Really
He's
close together.
Gohan's dropped back, so I'm not sure if he's spun it potentially out of turn 2. He's lost a load of time and he's understeering everywhere. I think he's at the wall.
He's lost loads of his front wing.
Yeah.
Apex Aero could be on him at any second now.
So yeah, that's what your yellow would have been for. Yeah, he's getting out of the way, so he's obviously crashed and caused some damage. He looked like he had a bit of a problem through qualifying, as Stanley's got a much better run than Hayden here, running up to turn 10 and 11. Oh, it's 9 and 10. Oh, is he going to try around the outside?
Oh.
Is he? No, he's had to concede that, but say Hayden's got a bit of a poor run. And look at Mitzi there. He's getting interested on the pair of them. And he's going to look around the outside of Hayden. Whether he's going to get Danny or not, I'm not too sure. Hayden's been pushing to a mistake, running wide. Oh my God, they're going to go 3 wide. Danny on the inside. Off turn 4. Oh dear, Mitzi's round.
Oh, they're round.
Oh.
Well, Hayden's round.
Hayden's round as well.
And Mitzi's round. And
Apex Zero has joined in on the action as well. So Gohan, with no front wing, has just made 3 overtakes there on just what looked like 3 separate incidents. That is absolutely bizarre.
Hayden, he lost it trying to get the place back from. He was trying to keep up with Danny and he just lost it in the corner. Mitzi, I think, got spooked by it. Spun at the same time, and Apex just went straight into Mitzi.
I think Mitzi understeered into the side of Hayden, and say Hayden just lost it by himself. Apex Zero arrives on the scene saying he wants to crash as well, so well, that was good action there really, but unfortunate for the rest of them. Now, as I say, they've got long races as well, but at least Powser is going to have some people to race against now, because he was the only one who had pitted before, so the rest of them, most of them gone to the hard. Gohan's gone onto the medium tyre, which is quite interesting. I think the rest of them will try and get to the end.
Oh, Blomson! What a save! That is one of the biggest wiggles I've ever seen coming out of that chicane. Whatever game you played, that is a big incident area. Him losing it on the apex on the outside. But Overkills has managed to get past the Toro so as a result of that. But that was some save. I got that on board from the position of the Red Bull. But at the moment, the Ferrari has DRS on the Mercedes has DRS on the Racing Point. Maybe that double punch of the DRS will be able to make any difference. I don't think it will. I think it's just a bit too far behind of the Racing Point. The Ferrari brakes so much later than the Mercedes going into turn 3. And there's another yellow flag.
Oh, Hayden. What that is? Oh, it looks like he's lost it on the exit of... I think that is actually turn. He's lost it on the exit of. So the flash chicane is 10 and 11. So apologies for just... I don't know my core numbers, but yeah, he's lost it. And I think, again, he's got... Well, he's got no front wing, let alone front wing damage. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls into the pits and potentially retires. Because, you know, he's going to be a long way off second to last, let alone anyone else. So yeah, very interesting to see the Ferrari a lot more confident on the brakes into 3. Let's say it looked like he's about to run into the back of Tralix, which was interesting. And it's also interesting to note as well, Ant-Man's who did have I thought a very healthy lead after lap 1. He had about a 7 or 8 tenth lead. It's been reeled in by Tralix and a few of the other guys behind. Let's say the top 5 all within a second of each other. Mike about a second off Chalk in 5th and 6th. So the top 8, the ones starting on the softs without much incident, is quite close, Jack, and that is quite good for the race because you just don't know who's going to win, do you?
Yeah, I think the reason we're seeing a lot of mistakes early on is just purely because of the fact it's a new game, and the difference this game is to the last game, because the driving physics is different, the setups are different, the cars are different. You couldn't get more different, I think, and that's the reason we're seeing many spins, many, well, not too many incidents between drivers. People are just sort of having on their own accord.
Yeah, to say that that earlier incident between where Hayden, Apex, Midzy, that was just absolutely bizarre. I've never just seen a few people just have separate incidents. I know that was all triggered by them going 3 wide, but it's absolutely bizarre. It's all over the back of the Antimaz here.
So close to him.
He is so close. I say this DRS zone leading up to turn 12 and sector 3. It says Overkills gets a penalty. Is he going to have a look here? Or he looks to the inside.
He locks up the right front a bit, but he's going to get away with it. It's going to cost him a bit to the Ferrari behind. The Ferrari now is all over the gearbox. Same story with the Alfa Romeo. These people are putting their softs on quite a long time though, but I guess I'm still with my F1 2018 head on. And going by the fact that these are going to overheat within a couple of laps.
Yeah, so normally as a rule of thumb, if you're going to do a one-stop on the start from the softest tyre to the hardest tyre, if you can do about a third of the race on the softs, you can probably do the other 2/3 on the hards. As Alphabol looks at the outside of Nathan there, I don't think there's any change for the lead. Or is there? Oh, Dralik has gone around the outside.
I didn't want to interrupt, but they're going around the outside of each other.
I wasn't even looking at the front there.
Flat out over the curb, that was brave. But he does concede in the end to DSR Dralik. But from the pace he used to, this battle's not over yet. Got my long shot.
No. And so I'm not sure whether Dralix is going to be able to pull away, whether it's easy to follow around here, but Dralix is definitely the faster of the 2 drivers over the last few laps. Whether he's conserved his tyres, his ERS management, I'm not sure, but Antimaz isn't letting him pull away, and well, the other 2 behind are letting him pull away as well. As Dralix is a 3-second time penalty, that could be crucial. We're going to have to check penalties midway through the race, not at the moment, as Antimaz he's just going to stay behind. He's
going to wait for the DRS zone to turn 1 and turn 3. Do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a very big DRS zone, so unless they've made a mistake, they're coming into the pits.
Both pitting.
And both pitting. So the front 2 pits. Anyone else pit behind?
Maybe they can just whack the wall with his left rear. And now the Alfa Romeo is all over the Ferrari.
Way
past him before turn 1. Way past him. And that, I think, is a direct result of Ferrari hitting the wall with his left rear tyre. And I think we saw somebody go onto the grass there in the formation lap. So is that corner a bit slippery? Alphabol just undid all of his good work. Gone wide into turn 3. That McLaren is also going to capitalise on that of Jork. And he lost another 2 positions.
Yeah, Alphabol's had a very strange race because he's looked very quick. Obviously got pole in quite a dominant lap, you have to say. Had a shocker of lap 1. I just don't think he's as comfortable in the race, potentially being stuck behind other cars. It's just considering and say how good his qualifying was. I expected him to be, the odds-on favourite as Gran picks up a penalty. Down in 12th there. And it's interesting to see as well, a lot of people cutting the second part of that fast chicane. Whether that gives you a warning or not, I don't know. But Overkills has been silently making his way through the field. I know a few people appeared and onto the back of people because he wasn't too far from Mike. Oh, Hayden, dearie me. You've had a shocker there, Hayden. It must be said. Now I think will be the time where he gives up, as most of the people come into the pits on the softs. You've only got Alpa. Interestingly, Alpa stayed out, and Brunson as well, who's also stayed out, as Hayden does indeed retire from the race. Whether he just retired on track or put it in the wall, I think he's actually put it in the wall. So difficult race capped off there with less front left than he used to have. So I wonder if any of the positions have changed in the pit stop. So Dralix looks like he's kept the effective lead of the race. Nathan has come out in second. It's interesting the gaps.
He just did an almighty save anyway. Carry on.
That's very interesting. So most of the people which pitted have gone to the hards as I expected, but Joe gone to the mediums. Whether that's a mistake or he genuinely thinks he can get to the end on them tyres, we'll wait and see. He's definitely going to have a bit of a pace advantage at the moment, but he's going to have to conserve them very well. I don't think he's going to go for a 2-stop. It's not like him at all to go for the 2-stop, because I can't imagine it being quick around here, especially with the pit lane being slower. That's a very interesting. See how that pays out for him down in 9th. And there's a few people to pit. He was running 5th anyway. Pounds with 3 seconds as well. So I'm expecting the top 2 to come into the pits this lap, and indeed they do. So Langman.
Another interesting factor. Even though Nathan Aitken hit the wall on that lap, where the front 2 went in, and jumped the racing point.
Yes.
So he is now in a net P2.
That's very interesting. So whether Antoine's actually had an issue on his outlap, which we didn't see, or potentially got stuck behind someone who hadn't pitted yet, I don't know. As he's going to jump Alphabol, he is just about, and say, I think he's just going to get up to speed in time for Mike not to have a challenge as well. So Alphabol coming out then. I think he's gone on the mediums as well, if that's looking
Alpha's
correct.
On the hards.
He's on the hards, but I was on board with him, and that is definitely a yellow striped tyre, so cheers, Cody.
The colour glitch. The colour glitch is still a thing.
It is still a thing. No, it's brilliant.
Nice one, Cody.
It's going to be on intermediate soon. So yeah, interestingly, Bronson's
I'll go
gone
for the mentality of, this is just a small rant, sorry.
yeah.
Cody add more features before they fix the issues that already exist in their other features. And that just results in a snowball effect of more and more and more and more issues. That's why F1 2017 and 18 were so glitchy. 2019 is better than both of them already, even I'll admit.
Yes. Unfortunately, we have to give them some credit where credit is due. It does look like it's a lot better with stability. I know we had a bit of an issue with Mike lagging out in qualifying. Thankfully, he's still here and holding station. Fingers crossed he stays with us to the end. So the connection's not looked too bad. I think we see Dralix lag a couple of times. Interestingly, Nathan Aitken does set the fastest lap, so he's got his hard tyres up to temperature very quick. So yeah, it's not been too bad, all things considered.
Oh, yellow sector 3. Gohan's had a spin.
Now that is...
And I think he's lost his whole front wing, yes he has.
So he's Gohan into the pits. Sorry for that.
Yeah, the yellow sector 1 as well. Jork's had a spin.
Oh dear! Has he lost his front wing as well?
I think he's just spun. I don't think he's lost any front wing, but he's now down in P10.
Whether he's had an incident because he was creeping up to the back of that sort of Mike and Alpha, I wouldn't call it battle, but little train, as there is a Mercedes of Mike actually going very slow. It's a virtual safety car. That's why he's going slow.
I think that's why, yeah. I thought he might have had a little bit of a spin, but he's alright.
So, I'm not sure whether that's because of potential debris from Jork's front wing. I'm not too sure. It'll be interesting to see what the two leaders do. I mean, they're both on hard, so they would have to stop for mediums, and I don't think they would get to the end. Danny does indeed actually come into the pits, so he's going to take advantage of this VSC, get a cheap pit stop now. I'm not sure what he's going to do, and say the VSC's ended as he's coming to the pit, so
he's just gone.
Oh, that's nightmare timing for Danny. He's gone on to the set of mediums and 17, or it'd be 18 laps really from there. I think that's going to be tough as Alphabol getting a run on Ant-Man's there. 4P4 is going to go round outside, is he? And he's got him, so much better restart there for Alphabol, capitalising on maybe a mistake or just a slow restart.
He's liking those hards over the softs. He is absolutely, he's really switched those on over the racing point, and he's going to start to try to catch up to the two in front of the Ferrari of Nathan Aitken and the Mercedes of VSR Dralix.
Yeah, it's also interesting and probably worth pointing out that his tyres are at least a lap fresher than everyone else around him. He's got 2 laps on a few cars as well. Whether that's going to pay dividends towards the end of the race when tyre wear will be maybe an issue for some of us, I don't know. I shouldn't think it will be too bad. It's not traditionally a high wear circuit this, but it can come back to bite you near the end, especially, say, we've seen some of the curb spit people out a few spins already with people on decent levels of tyres, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. So it's such a shame because Jordan's having such a good run of it there, running an effective P5, and say he's understeered off there, where he's actually picked up a slight bit of damage. I'm on his front wing because he's just not looking like his car's steering into corners very well. You know, he doesn't want to pit, go to the end, maybe wait for a full safety car, I don't know. And Alphabol there with the fastest laps, you're right, he did switch them hard tyres on very quick, so yeah, so Danny's pit stop gamble. You never know, he could get to the end from there, as I say.
Yellow
you know,
sector 3, is that Midzi has had a spin at the fast chicane. I think he's managed to avoid the wall, but he's not going to lose anything if he didn't, unfortunately for him.
No, all he's lost is time to the car in front and some more pride, which is rapidly going away here from this race. I think he might have damage, just how slow he took that corner, or was he just got high tyre temp? So he's coming into the pit, so Rose coming to a tyre.
Point is having trouble with those hards. The other Mercedes of Mike Marshmallow, Mike Marshmallow is now all over the back of the racing point, going to get DRS into turn 13, I believe, at the end of this straight, or turn 12.
I think it is
turn
13.
Yes, he's going to go down the inside racing point, although he's having trouble with his tyres, managing to hang around the outside just. But now he's going to have to supply double DRS dose from the Mercedes instead of
when he goes wide
like
there.
It's sector 3, Pelzeri's retired, the Toro Rosso is all over the back of the Mercedes as well. They both get DRS. He pulls to the inside. I think this is going to be a fairly textbook move. He's one car length ahead now, car and a half. I think he might be able to fight back. The Toro Rosso goes onto the grass to go around the outside. Going to get into the DRS and slipstream of the Mercedes in front. He's going to try and go around the outside. He's on the softer tyre. You know, he gets pushed onto the curb by the Mercedes. And now the Red Bull of VSR overkills from absolutely nowhere. Where did he come from? And goes around the outside of Toro Rosso and makes two places up within the spaces of 2 corners.
Great racing there. I mean, if we say Palsary, a victim of turn 11, unfortunately. His car on the right-hand side definitely lost it on the exit curve, so sad end to the race for him. As I say, overkill's just from absolutely nowhere. Has got 2 positions. I just see him just before the start of that lap, just hanging back, watching them 3 barrels. He just picked his way pretty methodically through that group and see them 2 have pulled away.
DRS on the Mercedes, sorry to interrupt, but he goes for it, but the Mercedes brakes. He's so confident on the brakes, is Mike Marshmallow. He doesn't even get a chance to stick his nose up the inside. And I was so surprised to see him actually having a battle with Watson there. I was expecting the pink wings pull alongside when I was on board with the Toro Rosso, but I saw a black winning and was like, who the hell is this? And there is, VSR overkills going around the outside into start sector 2, and he's got DRS on Mike Marshmallow now. Yeah. He doesn't go there.
Nathan Aitken and Alphabol have just switched positions for what is effective P2 in this race, winning P3 and 4. See Langman yet to pit, so I think these 2 are going to be embroiled in a race-long battle for that 2nd place. And say Dralix has pulled away from a 3.5 second lead over Nathan now, so although he's got that 3-second penalty, which we know about penalties, I think I'll check in a little bit. He is pulling away, as I say. I mentioned just before the race, he is someone who does come alive really with his consistency. It might not be flashy, it might not be entertaining, but he always just pumps in lap times, which, say, if anyone's battling, as Jork has got round the outside, I think, of Antmaz there, through the middle chicane. Antmaz, as you can see, another place to Danny, so Antmaz is having a shocker on these hard tyres. Not sure what he's doing, he's lost a whole host of positions. Whether he actually picked up damage or not, I'm not too sure, because it's just... He's just lost so much time. Positions as Danny looks on the inside of Jork there into 13. I think he's going to get that done. He just closes the door slightly on Jork and he gives that up.
Simple but effective. As is the way with a lot of league races. The McLaren goes straight into the left rear tyre of that Red Bull. Must have lost a bit of front wing there.
I'm not sure. I wasn't on board of that. Because say you've got the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. So Brumson on the inside of Mark Marsh running to toe on. That's very brave. He comes from quite a way back there, but Brum on the medium tyres, he actually gets that move done. And say Mike has just lost all momentum because of that. He's got so far back.
Past the Ferrari. I think that was just up to the inside. Again, just a fairly textbook move, simple but effective.
Yeah, then
understeer from the Ferrari. Keeps on track.
M2 there, as I say, swapping positions every lap, and Tralix every lap is probably smiling underneath that crash helmet or behind his wheel at home, because he's extending that gap all the time. And so he's just looking quite comfortable at first. I don't want to give him the commentator's curses. There's a yellow, it's mid-C probably. Can't go on board him, unfortunately, but yeah,
I've seen quite a few cars. I've seen quite a few cars stationary there in the past, including my own.
Yeah, I've fallen victim of that.
He is pulling out the gap very quickly indeed. I mean, he's already, what, 4, 5, 6 car lengths ahead?
Yep. What I can say is very interesting about this game, we had that VSC earlier, because I think of some front wing damage off job potentially. We're not too sure why it came out. But we've had a few cars completely written off on the track. No VSC or no safety car. Completely in the way, really. Complete danger. This was real life.
Yeah, safety cars in this game are fantastic. You just can't beat it, honestly. I mean, the damage system on F1 2018, it was really good when they were doing it in F1 Esports, but most of the time it was just down to desync, so it didn't really matter. But
yeah, and I will say as well, as someone who's been to spectate them events, it happened on LAN as well. It happened on the connection now. I'm not sure if anyone else is watching or yourself could see that on the streams you was watching it on. Good. But I know a lot of people did frown upon that. But it's alright, because there's 2 cars in this game.
It was just a real fundamental problem with F1 2018 that they couldn't be asked to fix. They had to put up with it for an entire year. Those people gave up with racing halfway through, and they've returned to this game.
Tried going around the outside of overkills there, sorry, and just overcooked it. And Mike Marshmallow now has got a bit more incentive to catch up to him, so mistake from Bumson there had to interrupt that mistake. And I think Nathan's had a bit of a problem as well, because he's dropped back for an alcohol. I thought they would be nose to tail for the rest of this race.
I don't think Nathan's pace is bad. It's Alpabor's pace is extremely good, because he's made up a second on VSR Hydraulics over the last lap. So he is absolutely flying.
And what I will say as well is, Langman's pace hasn't been too bad at him. From we've not really spoken about him too much, because he's just been out there doing it on a strategy. So as Zero comes into the pits, he's a long way behind. Doesn't think he can get his hards to the end where he pits. So interesting to see where Langman actually comes out. I think he'll go onto the soft tyres. Interesting to see when he pits, and so where he comes out, if he can make a late charge to the end. So if he gets a safety car now, he would be in a good position. I'm going to check penalties. Of course, you did that. Interrupt the stream.
Honestly, brilliant action though.
It has been, considering I didn't know what to expect. I say just purely for the grid, and of course Australia is a bit iffy sometimes. But yeah, it's very interesting. So, of the top runners, Alex does have 1 penalty. Alphabol doesn't have a penalty. He only has 1 warning. Nathan Aitken, he has 3 penalties. Oh, that's going to drop him back. Overkills with 3 penalties and a couple of warnings as well, so he's close to a 4. Wilmson with 3 penalties as well, so a lot of the drivers there. Mike with no penalties, but he has a couple of warnings. So he's one of them drivers who's going to make up a few positions if it all goes well for him.
Around the outside of the Mercedes of Mike Marshmallow. Wilmson trying to go around down the inside of Overkills, and he's gone around the outside of turn 4. Same with the Mercedes. The Mercedes successful in defending, Toro Rosso successful in attacking, and the positions have swapped round once again.
So going back to the penalties, I know it's a bit mundane. So Danny has 3 penalties, Jork has 1, and Sam, there's not really too much point going to Ramaz back because he's so far behind. Penalties are just not going to affect his race at all. So don't be surprised to see someone like Mike, or potentially even Jork, because he's only got 1 penalty, move up as he gets his 2nd penalty. Cheers for that, Jordan.
DRS again. He's going to go down the inside. Is he going to be a very taking move like we've seen? No, he's going to fight back around the outside on the harder tyre, surprisingly. So the hard tyres are working amazingly for some and horribly for others. I have a feeling that is a setup thing.
What I have noticed over the laps is the gap between Langman and Dralix. I know they're not fighting each other. It's stayed the same for a little while now. So it just makes me think, is Langman just having a really good pace? You know, is Dralix struggling a little bit? I'm not too sure. I think they're meeting somewhere in the middle, but it's interesting that Langman's starting on his tyres on his 20th lap. So Overkills gets another penalty. And Mike gets one as well.
He was just trying too hard in defence and he cut turn 4 a bit overexcited trying to defend the rebel behind. These two have been battling absolutely wheel to wheel. And to be fair, props to George, he's caught back up after he had that sort of Larry spin. And I'm not sure how many penalties he's got. I can't remember how many.
He's got 2 now. He's got 2. He did have 1 and then got another one as I was talking about it. So yeah.
Commentator's curse strikes again. Alvarez now only 1.6 behind the Mercedes of VSR Dralix. VSR Overkills is half a second behind Wamson, who's actually starting to pull away from him.
Yeah, Langman into the pits. Anyway, I'm not surprised. I think he's going to go into a set of softs here for a quick blast to the end. Indeed, he does. So where's he going to come out? I'm expecting him to come out probably behind George. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
How far back or is he?
Past goes Wamson. Past goes Overkills. Yeah, I think he is.
But he's not. He can see that group. He's not even too far behind. So on a fresh set of softs, he's going to be. He's going to be on in.
So much faster. He is going to be so much faster than everyone else in those softs.
Yeah,
that is a big dive from Danny. That's going to help his Langman catch up even more. And he's already there behind the McLaren. He was probably about half a straight behind before Danny went for that dive, and now he's about 2 car lengths behind.
He must not get frustrated though, because he might not be able to pass out the first opportunity as he gets an amazing run of draw. And look at the difference. He's got them set of tyres. He's going to easily breeze by. I don't think George's going to put up too much of a fight. No, he's too smart for that. He obviously knows that there's probably some potential that if Langman, passing these cars ahead, George might be able to follow them through. Danny picks up another penalty there, and he has a bit of a wobble on there through the exit of the fast chicane. It really, he might have had a go at Mike there, but that put paid to any challenge there. And saying Langman, he's much quicker.
Is he going to dive up the inside into penultimate corner? No, he's not. He's going to wait for the DRS. He's going to be sensible, even though he probably feels like an absolute superhero compared to these two in front right now. He's got DRS, and he's passing them like Ricardo did in China in 2018.
It's incredible, and to say, Stroll picks up another penalty. Speaking of penalties, Langman is someone who's only got 1 more in this race. He's going to breeze past Mike. Let's say Mike's as well. He's not going to put up too much fight to it.
3 overtakes in a lap. Extraordinary stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Langman on the podium here, considering who's ahead of him, the penalties they've got, and the fact he's only got 2 seconds to catch up to Overkills. He's going to catch up to him in like a lap's time at this rate, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes.
I didn't think the difference of time would be this big. He's 2.5 seconds a lap quicker probably at this point.
Yeah.
Everyone else don't get us on extremely warm softs and extremely warm mediums and hards, and he's on fresh softs. So don't be surprised by if turn 1 he'll be next to Overkills probably.
I was about to say take 10 off the fight between Mike and Danny, but Danny thinks better of it. We get such a snap of oversteer on the curb there through 13. That must have woken him up a little bit, but staying behind Mike for now. So George is probably getting so frustrated, staring at the back of these two who are battling for so long, and he can't really do much about it. Possibly his medium starting to fade now. This is, 14th lap he's completed on them. Langman, yes, it's the fastest lap of the race now. I've not read up on the rules of this league this season, but I'm very sure that fastest lap gets a point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
In line with the real rules.
Same rules as in real life. So no reason to not have it. Of course, it is only if they finish in the top 10, it's valid. He's now right up the gearbox of VSR overkills. If you were VSR overkills, would you fight this? Because I would.
I wouldn't wave him by, but at the same time, I wouldn't put too much resistance if he gets a really good run. I'm not going to let him. I wouldn't let him by here. Let's say if he gets a really good run through DRS, he will. Just to say, considering the penalties.
The point you're trying to make, the point what I'm trying to make is, I'm not going to let you pass. If you want to get past, you're going to have to overtake me.
Yes, very much like the radio message from Hamilton a few years ago in Hungary to Rosberg. If he's close enough, overtake.
You can overtake.
Yes, which did spark a very interesting race after, and Hamilton put his foot down on him. And say Langman putting his foot down now through the final corner, getting a extremely good run on overkills, possibly saving his ERS there and overkills. He knows not to defend that. He's much better off sticking behind. Maybe Langman's tyres at the end will not be as good, but say Langman, where he is right now, is effectively on the podium.
I mean, I think his wear should be fine. I mean, people got the softs earlier to around lap 12, and they had heavier fuel. They'd done a lap on them in qualifying. I think Langman, he did start them hard, so he wouldn't have been in the top 10. So I think Langman, if he gets onto the podium, might be a good candidate for DOTD, Driver of the Day.
The DOTD, yes. Say Alphabol as well. He only needs to stay within 3 seconds of Dralix to get that win. And say comfortably pull that gap down. I think he knows that Dralix has got a penalty because he cannot close that gap down too much, and I feel like he could if he wanted. I think he's just staying 1.3, 1.4 seconds back, knowing he's not really got a challenge from behind.
Canada. Wow, that's a lot later. But he's still in his corner because of his fresh softs.
Danny and Mike again are trading positions, and I'm not sure who overtook who, but they're side by side. So George,
Mike was in front before. Danny's not going to do it. He's waggling the wheel like crazy. He's so frustrated. But I think Mike may be wise to finally let him pass through. He's got no assistance in front of the DRS. He's not going to be able to fight that back. I don't think. Up the inside goes the Red Bull. He's going to have DRS again because there's only one deflection going, of course. He's not going to get back here because Danny's going to hug that inside line like his favourite Gran.
George ran the outside of Mike. Mike runs him completely out of road there, which is a little bit dodgy. I think it might have been entitled to a little bit of room. Whilst we were talking, Langman did get up to P4, just overtook Brum on the straight, really. Got much better runs, so not really an entertaining overtake. He's right on the back of Nathan already. Yeah. But I don't think Langman's going to have enough time, unfortunately, to catch up to the top two. There's an 8-second gap after he gets by Nathan.
It'll be close. If the top two start battling, he could. He definitely could.
They are close.
They are very close.
Come down to under a second. I thought Alpha might just stay back, but I think he wants to get that win on track as well. Put any doubts really behind him. So yeah, Langman, I said it's if he catches up to the top two. Oh, did he run into the back?
I think he did, but I think he's okay because again, if you hit the car in front square on the front of your nose, it should be okay because you're not hitting the winglets. And the front is going defensive. He is going to have to try and go around the outside. He doesn't manage to do it, but of course
he gets a penalty doing so.
DRS. He's going to have to go around the outside again. We saw the change for the lead earlier on in the race on lap 1 with the racing point and the Alfa Romeo. There's a spin.
Oh no, that has gone horribly wrong. I think. Oh dearie me, I think the overkills might have some damage from that as well, but Nathan just didn't want to yield, and I feel like he squeezed Langman a bit too much there from my point of view, and that has just been a disaster for Langman. He's having such a good race, as you say. Was going to be driver of the day, I think, and he's definitely got damage. I see front wing come off. It's going to be falling back now.
Here comes the Alfa Romeo on the Mercedes. He's looking. He gave him a bit of a dummy, but he didn't commit to it. I think that's great. I think VSR is starting to really start to feel the wear of those tyres now. It's been on them 18 laps. Been on them since lap 8. So Of course they're going to start to wear. Albore's only 2 laps younger, so he's not that much younger, but enough to make a difference, obviously. He's got DRS, he's going to have to go into turn 1, VSR Hydraulics goes defensive. Is he going to try and get the switchback moves? No, VSR Hydraulics goes all over the curves, gets a penalty because of it. DRS, he's not going to get 60, he's already alongside him, and I think this will be a change for the lead. Mercedes can try and dive back up the inside, and then Alfa Romeo reclaims that first place, which he lost on the first lap.
Trelix did
for such a long time now, he's not going to be able to get back on the inside. He hasn't got enough momentum. Albon defends the inside line into. He wouldn't really think of overtaking. I don't think that was really necessary. But Trelix did get a bit of a squeeze on the throttle, had to come out of it. But that was great racing.
It was, and I think Trelix, after getting that second penalty, maybe knew the game is up. As I think Mike Marshmallow's disconnected. He's got a red cross next to his name. Yeah, oh no, he's disconnected, and Danny got compromised. As a result, Jock got a really good run on him, so... Oh no, Mike's disconnected, and his AI is, I think, spun, which is quite ironic, really. Oh, that's such a shame, really. He was having a good race, and in the insane battle with Danny, who again picks up another penalty. I dread to think how many he's got as overkills, gets past Brumson for P4 there. Brumson, maybe his medium starting to fade now, 17 laps old. Can't imagine they're in any good condition, so it's very interesting to know anyway. Catch up. So Nathan was the first person really to have any kind of resistance to Langman, and that's how it played out. I'll be interested to see the onboards of both of them. I'm very sure it's going to go to the stewards about that one. So it did look a bit interesting. Say Antsmaz has picked up now 3 position because of Mike's unfortunate disconnect, and 0 after driving about by himself. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch up to Mike's car, which is quite funny. Get a point. As Jork and Annie engage in battle. Now again, Jork pushed down the outside of turn 3, compromised through 4. As a result, as Danny gets a much better run around the outside there. So Danny with a stern defence of his 7th place. As Langman, I thought Langman got damaged. He's catching up again. Possibly due to the tyre wear.
He had to cool down the softs because obviously he's been putting that spin, the surface temperature. He's going to go through the roof, along with maybe a couple of flat spots as well. But I think he's managed to make them less angry. I think the P5 could still well be on for the Haas driver.
Yeah,
maybe even the P4 down to penalties,
I reckon
but
he might
I don't think I'd be ambitious.
I think he might get 3rd. I really do think he'd get 3rd, considering he hasn't had a penalty. He hasn't had one. No, he hasn't. I mean, you look at the gaps between the top guys and the fact that the 3 cars ahead of him have all at least... The 3 cars ahead of him have at least got 4 penalties. So Langman can get 2 penalties and still get 3rd. I mean, Danny might even pick up... No, Danny won't pick up a few positions. Jork might pick up a few positions, just for the fact he's only got, I think, 2 penalties. Which is bizarre, really. You wouldn't think 2 penalties would be worthy of being good, but here we are. A few of them have got like 5 or 6 penalties, which... really isn't good. I expected a few penalties, but come on, lads, stay within the track limits. As we are in the final lap, I didn't even realise it was a final lap. Got by that quickly.
Although Trelix has caught back up to the Alfa Romeo of Albon. Is Albon going to manage to keep his pole position to the line? He only managed to regain that lead in the last couple of laps because of that great pace he had on the hardest compound over his rival, PSR Trelix. But I think if he survives this attack, he will be okay as Mercedes locks up going into turn 13 through turn 14. Almost a flat-out blast in qualifying that we saw. And into the penultimate corner, turn 15, hairpin.
Oh my god, Jork. He's gone round the outside. Oh no, he went round the outside of Danny through turn 11 and lost it on the exit of 12. As I say, Alphabol. I think Alphabol and Trelix were aligned at the same time because Trelix had 6 seconds worth of penalties, which is very interesting. Sorry to take you away. Who's going to get the final podium position then? Because although they're going to cross the line,
Langman does get it.
Look at the gaps. Look at the gaps. I said he might because of penalties, and look at that. That is absolutely fantastic, really, Langman. I said if you just keep it clean, you're going to get a lot of positions. Jork has decided to crash his car into the wall, but let's pick up P7 at the expense of Danny's penalties. Antsmaz across the line in P9. there. Bit of a lonely
Also,
race.
can I
And
point something out real quick?
go on.
Jork, 21 laps on the mediums. Is he alright?
It is a bit mental. And I said Apex Zero might not catch Mike's AI car, which is hilarious when you think about it. As Mike's AI gets 10th, I'm not sure. I think he'll get that point. I'm not too sure. As I get an achievement for spectating an online race.
Yeah, so do I. I got an achievement.
Well, Alphabol gets the biggest achievement, really, 25 points. I don't think he got fastest lap, but 25 points then to say converted his pole position, which into the race win. He didn't convert it into a lead. He had to work hard for it, as say pumping in fast laps and then hard. You said he looked very comfortable when he got onto them tyres, and there it is. Takes a fairly commanding win, you have to say, when you think about it. I know Drax pushed him hard and got into a lead, but just that pace difference, I think, was a bit too much. And say Drax with them 2 penalties really put dividends to his challenge. Langman getting P3 there. Look, no penalties.
Oh, look at all the penalties.
Oh.
Langman, GG for being the only ones who didn't get any.
I say Drax only got 6 seconds, which is good in the scheme of things. Say Chalk picked up a position because of that. And say Antsman's only have a couple of penalties as well. I say it's just a bit mixed up to where people finished and where they didn't. So I say Langman definitely gets my vote for drive of the day, though, because that hard stint was very impressive. And I say the way he cut through the field on softs, although it's expected, you still got to produce the laps and the overtakes. So that's my drive of the day. I'm expecting to say the same thing, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what happened to Ansbaz on that second stint on the hard, so he just had absolutely no pace compared to his first stint. I think he must have dropped about 5 positions in 3 laps.
Yeah. The thing is, it didn't look like he had damage, it just looked like more oversteer. If you're going to have damage, you're going to understeer everywhere, so whether he just cooked them tyres, but I'm not too sure what happened anyway. All I know is, I feel like we have to get first, second and third into the party. So I'm going to do that so it doesn't interrupt your stream.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Who's going to do the questions? Because I think from those people that have seen me try and do it on ILR3, I'm fairly awful at this stuff.
It'll be fine. I'll be fine doing it.
You sure?
Yes.
Like how I'm conferring this in front of everyone.
I'll be fine. Hopefully they'll join. Hopefully they do.
Well,
so whether they've just gone.
Oh, there's third. Alright, now where's
2 out of 3.
our winner already buggered off?
Give it a moment. Make sure to tick the box, by the way, before we do anything.
Yeah.
But that'd be a bit awkward, me asking you a question, and all we hear on the stream is this.
Is our winner already cleared off? I think he might have
think he might have done. He was that quick in getting off the game as well as on it that, you know, I probably doesn't even know how the podium interview works, really. Let's be honest. He's just in a Kimi Raikkonen, really, and just doesn't want to say a word. So, well done to him anyway on the win. So, we'll cut to you, Dralix, anyway. P2 after, you know, an interesting start as well and getting into the lead through the pit stops. I did think for quite a while that you would be potentially winning this race. I was thinking that, you know, your race pace was there, but unfortunately, I think Alpa was just a bit too strong towards the end. So, yeah. Oh, we did join! He has joined! Midway through a question. It's very rude. But it's alright. We'll carry on anyway quick. So, yeah. I did think you might win at the race. So, yeah, just tell us how your race went. You know, just explain, you know, obviously the first stint was very interesting. Yeah. How did the race go from your view?
I mean, it was a pretty good race. The first stint, I was a bit nervous-y. I know that's not a word. I was a bit nervous. I don't know. It was my first league race. I just didn't want to crash. So I didn't really do anything. And I did 2 laps in quali, so my tires were a bit more worn. which is why I pit on lap 7. But that gave me a massive undercut. And
yeah, I'm not sure.
my
He struggled with tyres at the end, maybe.
well, not really. It was just my pace on the hards was pretty good. I just kept getting warnings. I usually don't get penalties, but I got 6 seconds. So
You did better than most. Which you can
Yeah,
say that.
but-
I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you see that at the end.
yeah, but
I mean, I
I
think
usually
the
get
only
3
two
or less.
other
so.
people that, the only 2 people that didn't get context for you anyway are people that are standing on the podium with you.
Yeah, and I was really hoping Alper would get penalties, but then I got my second penalty, and I was kind of like, So I didn't really fight too hard after that. But then he got a horrendous exit at the last corner, and we actually finished side by side. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but
I did notice that. I see the gap was exactly 6 seconds, and I knew you probably. I knew you had 2 penalties, so
it was a
as
total finish
much
side by side.
as much as I hoped both of you had the same amount of penalties, that would have been incredible. It was very anticlimactic. 'Cause
Yeah.
we did know.
But it was fun. And I'm pretty happy for my first league race in like 6 or 7 months. So
Yeah, I was about to say
Probably.
you've been out of action for a while, so it's great to see you back on the podium in your first race back, and say hopefully that steps you up for what I hope is a championship challenge for yourself. So you're actually in second place. Normally we would start with the winner in these, but instead of being quick like you have been, Alper, you were slow joining. So congratulations on your win. Interesting race, because say qualifying, I think you got pulled by about 3/10, and then talk us through what happened on lap 1, because you was down to 4th. We didn't see it because it didn't happen off the start, did it? Doesn't have a mic, does he?
Oh,
no.
oh no!
Type
Oh,
out
no.
how your race went. We'll read it out for you. I now feel like a massive tit after doing all that, which is fantastic. We've got to go someplace so soon. So once that happens, Nangman, well done on 3rd, especially from 13th on the grid in what was, well, a very chaotic race around you. I'm not sure how much you see of the incidents, but you just had a really effective race. To say your pace on the hards, especially towards the end of the stint, was very good, and the way you conducted the soft stint was very good. Obviously, you had that incident with Nathan a few laps from the end, but the fact you got no penalties, I was saying, the people ahead of you had like 4, 5, 6 penalties. He was always going to get on the podium just based off that fact, but I thought, obviously I thought he was going to get on the podium on pure race pace and on track. So yeah, just talk us through how your race went, and say, especially that end stint, really, where all the action was.
Oh yeah, so going into the race, I was, me and Danny, we both started on hards. We knew the race was going to come to us, so we just played. I told him to be consistent, not get any penalties. Obviously, he didn't do that, but I kept it clean, and I guess I reaped the rewards at the end. Obviously, the incident was a bit of a shame, but
Yeah,
it was good.
I mean, it was a bit unfortunate, but I think
I don't know
all
what
things
happened. Yeah.
considered,
It's probably contact model.
I'm not sure if you would have had the pace to catch up to the top 2. Maybe you could have got
probably-
Dralix on
probably not.
penalties.
Maybe.
Considering, I think the gap was about 8 and a bit seconds at that time, and there'd have been 6 seconds difference in penalties, so there's potential there. I think the win was a bit out of the question, but considering you started P13, to catch up to
Yeah, I'm
P3,
pretty
it
happy
was a
with
very
that, yeah.
incident-packed race as well, so actually, so that's say the first few laps as well, did you just sit back, wait for the incidents? I think that's what you did.
Yeah,
Really?
we knew the race was going to come to us, so like I just wanted to get consistent times in. It was, yeah.
Yeah, as I say, it was a very impressive race. You got driver of the day from us. So well done.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, you got that
Cheers, guys.
prestigious award, as well as 16 points, I believe. I think you
Yeah,
get a point
fastest
for your
lap, yeah.
fastest lap.
Yeah.
So, good reward there. I don't think Alper, there's even a message in the chat. I'm not too sure, so Yeah, bit awkward there that the race winner has lost his voice. Too excited. That's what it can be. Can't contain his excitement enough, and we probably can't contain our excitement good enough for the next race, which is... Someone check the calendar. What is the next race? Is it China?
Bahrain.
What is the next race? Bahrain? I don't have a clue. So, Bahrain is the next race. I think you'll have your normal commentators back, whoever they are. I don't even know who the normal commentators are for F2, which is brilliant. All I know
Rapids
is...
and
probably...
Maestro.
There you go. If you want to see us back next week in F2, then please do riot on Twitter. We will understand if you do that. But as I say, it's been very entertaining. You're probably going to have them two next week, and hopefully you have the entertainment we had this week as well, because at Incidents Aplenty, we had some really good racing as well to, you know, back that up. The only thing we didn't have was changeable weather, which, if we get that next week, then I'll buy every one of my followers on Twitter a pint. There you go. We'll do that.
I'll only spend about £2 then.
Oh, yes.
Daddy.
Depends where I'm going for the pints. You never know. But yeah, very entertaining race. I say congratulations to the podium finishers. I say, I don't know if you want to round it up, Jack, on tonight's race.
Yeah, it was not... I think we've covered everything, to be honest. I think, good job from everybody. And what's the next race? I believe it's Bahrain. I think we're just following the regular calendar, aren't we?
Yes. Yes,
okay,
we are.
So we probably won't see you next week for Bahrain, but you will have your regular comms back. I will be in ILR3. Where will you be? Will you be commenting anything, or are you just...
I will be watching the incidents as they come in after the race. So people who try and have a fight with others on Twitter because someone hit into them, I'll be reviewing them cases. So basically, if you hit into each other, I'm going to give you a penalty. Depends how much I like you.
Oh, right, okay.
Popularity contest now.
Corruption.
Fair enough.
So,
And now we know we have somebody on watch to make sure people don't get into fights.
Oh no, I hope that happens. It's brilliant. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
hopefully what is entertaining is next week, and as I say, the racing is as good, so hopefully Dom and James, Maestro Rapids, to everyone else, are back next week. We'll be on the sidelines or racing in your case. Hopefully whoever's watching is viewing next week as well, because it is very entertaining. And yeah, what I will say is, from myself, from Jack, from the podium, good night, people.
yeah, and that is good night from me as well. We'll see you